It's time for Rebel Sports on MyLocalRadio.com and 98.3 KADQ. Rebel Sports is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Power, Ready, Rich School District, Town of Randolph, Evanston Regional Hospital, Come On In, Westar Printing and Rocky Mountain Sign, T7 Propane, Station on Main, Stacy's Repair, Ellingford Brothers, Bear Lake Memorial Hospital, Bear Lake Realty, Independent Software Solutions, Jimmy John's, Dr. McKay Frankum, Crawford Trough, Woodruff Corner Store, Our Bakery, Mound Valley Cattle Company, and the town of Garden City.
Welcome, Rich High viewers. We are down here in the second home of anybody who loves 1A sports. If you are a follower of 1A sports, you are very well acquainted with the town, or the city rather, of Richfield, and more in particular the Sevier Valley Center. That's where we are here this weekend for the Richfield tournament, is how they coin it. A very well-known and competitive tournament in the volleyball world. And we are here, Rich, one of the few 1A schools down here. Panguitch is down here along with Rich, and we are facing a 3A school in the Emery Spartans. Don't know much about them. We're going to have a short pregame show today. The setup took a little bit, some credentialing happening so that we can be here, but we are ready to roll here, so I apologize, not much of a pregame show here, but we are set to go underway here, as the Rebels will take on the Emery Spartans, who are 11-8 this year, is what Deseret News has for them. There may be some scores not on there, but I imagine it is going to be a solid team. So excited to be here. Lady Rebels coming off a huge win last night, late last night against Tabiona, and we are excited for the run that they have had lately. 5 straight games, looking to make it 6 today. And like I say, as I reset the scoreboard here, that still has the score from last night, which was a great time against Tabiona, as I said. But Rebels are going to roll here, just getting ready to tip off against the Emery Spartans. To my knowledge, I am not sure if Rich has ever played Emery. If so, it's been a long time ago, as far as I know. Somebody can text me an update on that if you'd like, if there are more. But we are here playing the Emery Spartans Richfield tournament in Richfield, Utah. Down here close to where the football team is. The football team is just 15 minutes south of here at South Sevier High School tonight. So right after this, we will pack up everything, head down there, and broadcast that game as well, which should be a good one. And I will make sure, I hope, I am without my partner in crime and cameraman, Rob Leifson. He'll be meeting up with me later today at the football game. So I think I have our cameras set and ready to go, as Emery will be serving to Rich. Rich sets it across. Emery set up on the outside. Smith with a good pass up front to Cornea, outside to, that was Weston, I believe, and a point for Rich to start things off here. Now there's like 8 scoreboards here because there are a ton of games happening to the right of Rich's court right now. So I got to find, okay, I found the correct scoreboard. So I will try to keep that as accurate as possible. I still had in mind that we were the home team from last night, so let me get that switched over. Rich serves across to Emery. Emery puts it back across, back to Rich. Rich putting it forward. Pugmire gets it across. Emery to the outside once again, and the Rich High Rebels will do a great job of letting that one go. Rich find themselves up 2-0 here. I'm not as close today as usual, so I'm trying to make sure I know who's serving. That was Hatch serving across. Great serve to Emery. As they do get it across, Argyle up front to Cornea. Outside to Weston. That is kept alive by Emery. To the Rich side again as Peterson puts it across, blocked, back to Peterson, who gets it across. Emery from the back row, a good hard hit, but that is out of bounds. Rich up 3-0, a great start here to start this weekend. And to remind our viewers, they do have Emery today, and then they will play Panguitch tomorrow. Hatch to serve again. Good cross-court serve. Emery sets to the outside. Argyle puts it up front to Cornea, to Weston, who tips it over. Good play there by the libero for Emery. And that was a good kill by Emery there to give them their first points. That was just barely set to the inside still, but that will give Emery their first points as the Rebels up 3-1 here early on in the first set. And I am trying to find a roster here to help out with some of these names on the Emery side. I will keep you updated on that, but for now, I will just refer to them as Emery as a whole as they serve across. Argyle not able to handle that there, as that will go off and give Emery that second point, cutting the lead to 1. Awesome. Okay. Rob Leifson just texted me, and he said Rich played Emery in the Richfield tournament in 2021, lost 2-0. So Rich trying to get the upper hand this time around 3 years later. In the meantime, Emery does cut this one to a tied game, 3-3 off of that ace. A good server here by Emery as Rich puts it across. Emery just barely puts it back over the net as it tips forward, giving them that point, 4-3. Emery now taking the lead. Emery to serve once again, just over the net. Great serve again. Weston, good pass to Cornea, who sets up Pugmire, who just tips it over. That libero for Emery has done well today as they put it in the net, giving the Rebels the point to tie this one up at 4. I'm getting used to not having Rob at my side. I usually stop talking for a second to let him give some better knowledge than I have, as that does go out of bounds for the Rebels, giving it back to Emery. And that will give them the lead 5-4. So 5-4 in favor of Emery as they are set to serve once again. I'm trying to give all the servers some love here with the camera. Good serve. Weston up to Cornea. Sets Peterson up in the middle. And that was a good hit there. Something that was very valuable last night. Peterson, one of many Rebels who had a great night against Tabiona. And I'm happy to say that it does not seem that the Rebels are having what I call a win hangover, coming off of a big win but not performing the next day. They are dialed in once again today, as they have been the last couple of weeks. As Pugmire serves it across to Emery. Good, strong hit by the outside hitter for Emery. I believe that was tipped, and so that will be a point for Emery, as we do have some substituting. Weston coming back in for Pugmire here, taking her place in the back row. Emery up 6-5 in the first set. That serve is out of bounds in favor of the Rebels. Now tied 6-6. Just a light serve there, but out of bounds to the left. And we now have Smith back to serve across to Emery here. And I do know that this Richfield tournament, because of all the games, it has been, I think, traditionally best of 3. And so I do not think we're doing best of 5 down here, but we'll see as the day rolls on what we're doing here. But if you're the Rebels, you want to win this first one if it is best of 3. Smith gets the go-ahead for the serve. Serves across. Good serve just over the net. The libero sets up to the setter. Outside for Emery. Perfect kill there by that outside hitter to go up 7-6. Emery to serve once again. Get it over to Smith. Cornea sets up Levitt, who just puts it over. Emery setting up once again, and they will put it into the net. Definitely a back-and-forth match here early on for the Rebels, who now tie this thing back up as Cornea will be back to serve across to Emery, which she does to the back row of Emery, puts it to the front. And the Rebels, a great block there by both Pugmire and Hatch. Now taking the lead 8-7. It is definitely an adjustment for me being this high up. I'm getting old and can't see as well either, so I'm definitely squinting and talking up here to see who's hitting what, as Emery will put it out of bounds. Rebels now taking what I believe is the largest lead so far, 9-7. We were up 2-0, but now up 2 again, 9-7 here in the first set. And like I say, each set is even more so crucial down here, as I believe we are doing best of 3. So the first to win 2 games, or 2 sets, wins the match. Emery setting up once again from that back row position. That is in. Point for Emery, who will take over back at the service line. And in the process here, again, I am trying to find a roster to do Emery some justice, but I am just not finding one for them online on Deseret News. So I will try Max Preps in the meantime, probably at a break, as Argyle will take it back to serve here. Had a great senior night last night, and she will serve over to Emery. That is handled by that back row on Emery. He'll put it to the outside hitter. Great job by the Rebels to keep that alive, as Emery will try to put it back over from that middle spot, and that was a good hit by Emery, bringing the score. I'm going to update it here. It was actually 10-8 at that point. Emery taking another one, so it's 10-9 in favor of the Rebels still. Emery in the pink, the Rebels in the black and white on that other side. As Emery serves over, Weston to Cornea, outside to Pugmire. That was a good block by Emery, but out of bounds. And Pugmire has been tough on the outside with those hard kills. And that one goes off the hands of Emery, out of bounds. And back to Hatch, who also had a great senior night last night. Great win by committee last night at Rich High School. Emery setting up in the middle there, and that is in. Good tough hit from that middle blocker position for Emery. And that will bring them within 1 of Rich, as Rich does retain that lead, 11-10 here in the first set. Emery to serve. Back to Argyle, up front to Cornea, who sets up Peterson in the middle. Emery to keep it alive on the outside to Weston, to Cornea, and then to Pugmire on the outside, who tries to get a downward hit there, but into the net, tying this up at 11. A battle here early on, and we knew that there would be very good competition down here as well. And this is good for our Lady Rebels. Weston up to Cornea, who just tips it over. Emery now back to the outside. But I believe that was, I missed the call there, but it was against the Rebels. And so that will give a point to Emery, 12-11, as they take that 1-point lead here. Serving across to the Rebels, and that will be way too much to the Rebels. Get the ball back on that missed serve by Emery, going out of bounds. And Pugmire will serve across to Emery now. Pugmire with a great serve just over the net, handled by Emery. Into the middle, Argyle up to Cornea, outside to Weston. That is barely tipped by Emery, and then it hits the floor. Good, powerful hit by Weston, giving the Rebels the lead now, 13-12. We are about halfway through this first set here. Pugmire with a serve that does go into the net. She got it just over. It was a great serve the one before, but this one does hit into the net here, as the ball will come back to Emery, serving across to the Rebels. She does get it across to Smith. That will go all the way over, set up nicely for Emery to be able to hammer that down. Tough one to defend there, as Emery takes the lead 14-13. Once again, we're here in the first set down in Richfield at the Sevier Valley Center. We are just a couple weeks away from state. This is a great way to get ready for it. A lot of competition down here. Emery serves to Smith, to Cornea, to Peterson. Kept alive by the Spartans. They get it to the outside, tipped by Peterson, then to Smith. Cornea, Weston tries to get it over, and that is into the net. Emery going up by 2 now, just 10 points away from closing this set out, as the Rebels do not want to have a big margin here to claw back to. Trying to retake this lead here as Emery serves across to Smith. to Cornea, back to Smith, who gets it across. Now Emery will try to set something up here. And it looks like there was a lift there, so the Rebels will take over possession along with a point. Now just down one, as it looks like Weston going out for Pugmire, and Pugmire will go back to the service line. Levitt in as well. Pugmire serves it across to Emery, setting up for that third hit on the outside, which she does, and that is out of bounds. Rebels just avoid a touch there. But now we find ourselves tied up once again with Pugmire back at the service line. It is a race to 25 here as both teams are at 15. Good competitive game so far, not a ton of errors on either side, which is great after getting off the bus. The Rebels have done well, bouncing back from that big win last night. As Emery does get it to the floor there, going up 16-15 and taking over from the service line. So Weston back in for Pugmire here. Emery serves it across to Weston, who tries to put it back over, but it'll be into the net there. Emery gets another point, 17-15 for the Spartans. The Rebels have been able to be either in the lead or just down two, so they will try to continue that as it goes back to Weston, to Cornea. Pugmire from the back gets a good hit, but that is returned by Emery to the outside, and that is out. Emery has a great outside hitter. She has a lot of power behind those swings, and that one, luckily for the Rebels, just out of bounds. So the Rebels are down just one. Back to the service line. I believe it'll be Paige Smith back to serve, which, yes, it is. A few aces would be great here as Paige puts it, almost gets that ace. That is a good libero that Emery has. Kept alive by the Rebels as Chasley goes for the second hit there. It is blocked by Emery, but out of bounds to tie this one up at 17. Smith back again to try to go on a run here, which would be nice if we could get a few-point lead before giving it back to Emery. Emery sets up to the middle, and that is out of bounds. Rebels take the lead, 18-17. This is a back-and-forth match just like last night, and we hope for the same result for the Lady Rebels as Smith will go for her third serve here. She gets it across. Great serve, great low serve over to Emery. Kept alive by Smith to Cornea, and Hatch gets it across. Kept alive by Emery. This is a battle at the net, which the Rebels will win. There were 2 or 3 hits by both sides into the net for Emery. Gives Rich the point to go up 2. And that will bring us to our first time out as the Rebels now lead 19-17. We will go to our first break here. This is a Station On Main production of Rich High Rebel Volleyball. Listening online or watching online at mylocalradio.com and listening in on 98.3 KADQ FM.
Welcome to the town of Randolph, located in northern Utah. The first group of settlers came from St. Charles, Idaho in March of 1870. We are a town of great extremes, from 90 degrees in the summer to minus 40 degrees in the winter, and we hold the record for the coldest temperature ever recorded in Utah at minus 50 degrees. Randolph is a small, friendly community that strives to preserve our rural heritage and small town feel. Enjoy the feeling each time you visit Randolph. Go Rebels!
We are back here after a break as both the Lady Rebels and Lady Spartans take the floor. And good news, I found a roster for Emery on Max Prep, so every girl on that team doesn't need to be called Emery anymore. Smith serves it across to Meekum. Sends it across to Weston, to Cornea, outside to Levitt. That is just tipped by Emery. That'll be given to the outside. Once again, 2 hits by Sharp, who is a great player today. So that'll be a point as the Rebels put that out of bounds, giving Emery another point. Rebels still retain that lead, up by 1. Lost my scoreboard there for a minute, but should be back here in a minute online. We are knotted up at 19. Yeah, I lost my scoreboard there for a minute. All of you dedicated viewers, you know that the scoreboard usually kicks my butt, and it did there for a second. But we are back here as Sharp serves across to the Rebels, but that will be just out of bounds. She is a powerful hitter, either from serving or as an outside hitter, and it worked in favor of the Rebels there, who are now up 20-19. As Cornea served across to Emery, who gets it back across to Cornea. Hatch gets it across. Setting up on the outside for Cummings, and that will be a point for the Rebels, now up 21-19. Cornea to serve again across to the Lady Spartans. And it is out of bounds. So the Spartans will take over down 21-20. We have a tight one that is coming just down to the wire. First set. Both teams looking for their first set. And as I said before, I believe we were playing best of three, so a crucial first set here for both sides. Emery to serve across to the Rebels. Cornea sets up Hatch in the middle, kept alive, and that will be in. Good hit there by Haley Barnett to tie this one up for the Spartans, 21-21. The libero, number 30, Ashlyn Jeffs, to serve across. Great pass there by Smith to step up, get it to Cornea to Hatch. The Spartans will put that over to Weston, to Smith, and then across again, and they will set up to the outside. Good block by the Rebels, but kept alive by Emery, but into the net. A much-needed point there for the Rebels to go up 22-21 currently. And I'm a little behind getting the names of Emery down. Usually halfway through the first set, I can kind of get a hang of it, but I'm a little bit behind finding that roster late. As Argyle will serve across to Sharp, who gets it on the outside again, and that'll go out of bounds. Big play there for the Rebels as they are just 2 points away from closing out this first set. Now up 23-21. Cassie hoping to get the 2 points needed here to close us out before giving the ball back to Emery, and she gets it across to Cummings into the middle for Emery. Good block there by the Rebels. Hatch going to battle at the net as Emery tries to get it across, and they do. Just over the net, just off the hand of a Rebel. Emery not going anywhere anytime soon as they are just down one with the ball back. Number 17, Haley Barnett, to be serving across to the Rebels. Barnett to serve. Gets it across to Smith, to Cornea, to the outside to Pugmire. Back to Barnett, who keeps it alive, to Sharp. Emery gets it across to Smith, to Cornea. Good hit there by Weston, but kept alive by Emery still, who gets it across to Smith. That might be out of bounds. Good effort there by Weston to keep it alive, to Hatch. Good block there by the Rebels. But you got to hand it to both sides, keeping it alive when you think it's going to hit the floor. And Emery does get that point there. That was a battle for both sides. Right at the net, I thought we had it a few times, but Emery keeps it alive to tie this one up at 23. 2 crucial points up for grabs on either side here to close this out. A serve across to Weston, to Cornea, backside to Pugmire, who gets a good hit, but that is tipped by Emery. Back set just across. Good play there by number 19, Allison Johansson. And the Rebels will take a timeout here as Emery is now up 24-23, going for that set point. We'll be back just after this.
When was the last time you got to stay at a hotel that had an indoor waterfall and a fish pond? Or a hotel with a swimming pool, a baby pool, and 5 hot tubs? At the Come On In Hotel and Suites in Casper, Wyoming, you'll get all of this, plus an amazing complimentary breakfast. You can even reserve a suite with a private jacuzzi for 2. The rates are so affordable that every time you're in Casper, you and the whole family can stay without breaking the bank. The best hotel in Casper is the Come On In and Suites. Make your reservations today and come on in.
We are back, and we have a battle commencing down here in Richfield at the Richfield tournament as the Lady Rebels take on the Lady Spartans of Emery, and the Rebels find themselves down just one, but it is set point for Emery as they are set to serve across to the Rebels, which they do. Argyle up front to Cornea, to Hatch, who just sets it over, set right back to the Rebels. Emery keeps it alive here. They will get it across to Hatch, to Cornea, outside to Weston, just off the fingertips of the Spartans, who keep it alive. Sharp puts it across to the Rebels. Oh, and they will have it hit the floor. It was set back and forth and just hits the floor as the Rebels do go down in this first set at 25-23. First set lost by the Rebels in a while, because I believe we won in 3 the last 2 games, and so that is the first set lost by the Rebels. We'll see how we respond here as we have another set just coming up. This is a Station on Main production of Lady Rebel Volleyball, online at mylocalradio.com and listening in on 98.3 KADQ FM.
Quality is the one thing that you can always count on when you do business with.
We offer rebates on energy-saving products and equipment for our customers. For example, your home's heating and air conditioning system draws significant amount of electricity during certain times of the year. We offer cashback for heat pumps, which use energy-efficient technology to heat and cool your home. We also offer rebates on appliances and smart accessories like smart plugs and smart switches. Really, for anything that draws electricity in your home, we usually have some type of rebate to offer you. Visit wattsmarthomes.com today.
When you're hungry for an amazing breakfast, just like Grandma used to make, visit our bakery on Main Street in Randolph. We hand make fresh pastries for you to enjoy. Supporting the Rich Rebels and thanking you for your business, visit our bakery today.
We are back at the start of the second set as the Rebels do go down in the first set to Emery, 25-23. Good battle here. Emery's a good team. They are 11-8 this year in a very competitive 3A classification, and they have been winning lately based off of the Deseret News scores. So far, they definitely have a very good libero. She is getting to everything. That is Malia Meekum, and also number 5, Jabri Sharp, is also been a problem for the Rebels. Some good, strong hits, but that is not to be saying anything against our Lady Rebels. They played great in that first set against a good team. Like I said, coming off a big win late last night, a 4.5-hour bus ride this morning. Getting off the bus, it does not seem they are lagging one bit. But what I will say, my takeaway so far in this match is that there will be no gimmies on the Emery side. The Rebels are going to have to stay sharp, and a lot of those balls that, with some of our other opponents we faced this year, would have been a point for the Rebels. You have a lot of Emery Spartans diving to the outside, keeping that alive, and in recognition of the Rebels, we're playing the same way. There's a lot of hits that I think Emery thought that they would have easily, but the Rebels being scrappy on their side, we were just 2 points short of closing that one out. It was a back and forth set there as we begin this second set with Hatch serving from right to left to Emery. Looks like we are just confirming some rotations here before Hatch gets the go-ahead. Okay, which she does, so we should be ready to roll here. As you see her in that back corner, like I said, we've got four volleyball courts set up in this gym today. Hatch serves right to left. Emery will put it at the middle, but handled well by the Rebels. Cornea setting up Pugmire on the outside. Passed up front by Emery to the outside, and the Rebels, good block there by Peterson to give the Rebels their first point of the second set. Peterson doing great at the front of the net, just like she did last night with some big blocks. She has another one there, giving Rich their first point. Hatch again serving. Back to Emery to the front. That did hit the Rebel fingertips, but then the floor. So we are now tied up at 1. Again, Malia Meekum, that libero on the other side, doing a great job passing to her teammates, as number 17, Haley Barnett, to serve across to the Rebels. To Smith, to Cornea, setting up Pugmire on the outside, which she does, and that is not kept alive. Meekum tries to get it up, but it beelines it to the net, giving the Rebels that second point. It would be great if the Rebels could go on a run here, create a gap here with how good Emery is. It would be great to create a gap in the lead here, as Pugmire does serve it across to Emery. Over to Argyle, to Pugmire, and Weston will get it across to Sharp. Set up in the middle for Emery. She puts it right over to Weston, Cornea, who is ready for that. Emery again puts it to Cornea, and we do not keep that one alive. Cornea probably feeling picked on there. It was hit to her 2 or 3 times just in that possession on opposite ends. Cross court from Emery, as Emery now will serve it across. This match is tied at 2 apiece, as that will be too much there. That was served by number 12, Cabri Gordon. Strong serve, but too strong, as that will work in favor of the Rebels. Now find themselves up 3-2 in this second set. Pugmire comes in for Weston to serve across, which she will do successfully, as that was passed back straight to Meekum and into the net. Great serve there. Let's see if we can go on a run here, as Pugmire goes back again to the service line. Pugmire gets it across to Meekum, who does keep it alive this time. Right in the middle there, just over the net. Now it's the Rebels' turn as Cornea sets up. Levitt gets blocked but out of bounds. Good strong hit there by Levitt, directly into the hands of the Spartans and to the outside, as Pugmire goes back to the service line. The Rebels now up 5-2. Another few points would be great here. Pugmire serves it across to Meekum, and it is in. I believe Meekum thought it was going out, which I did as well, and it dropped at a great time there. Rebels now up 6-2 here early on in the first set. I would imagine Emery's going to take a timeout here if the Rebels are able to score a few more unanswered points. Pugmire gets it over, set up to the outside for Sharp. That is blocked by Cornea and Peterson, but then just tipped over by the Spartans. Now trying to give themselves some life here, as it is 6-3 in favor of the Rebels. Number 19, Allison Johansson, to serve across to the Rebels. Ball in the court here, and Johansson will set up once again. Johansson serves across to Weston, who gets it up, but a big hit by number 23, Cara Bernard, just over the net there. Big hit to give some life to the Spartans here. Now just down 2, 6-4 for the Rebels. Served across to Pugmire. Cornea sets up Levitt, who gets it across. And Levitt this time is able to reach over and just tip it down to give the Rebels another point and the ball back. That has been a theme in this second set. Those balls are being put right at the net, and it's anyone's game. And that time it worked in the Rebels' favor, as Smith serves it across to Meekum. Set up in the middle there for Emery, and I believe that is in, which it is. Rebels still up 7-5, but Emery getting the ball back. Next up for Emery is Cabri Gordon, serving across to the Rebels. And she does, back to Weston, up to Cornea, to the outside to Levitt. Tipped by the Spartans and kept alive out to the outside to Sharp. And she just barely sets it over, and I believe that did hit the floor. Rebels now with just a 1-point lead, as Emery's clawing back, and number 22, Kate Nilsson, serving across to Weston. Good pass up to Cornea, outside to Levitt. That is blocked by the Spartans, who now will keep it alive, trying to get that third hit over. And it is in. We are all knotted up here, 7-7 in the second set. Rebels need to win this one to keep it alive, if what I'm thinking is true, with it being a best-of-3 setup down here. Good serve by Emery, but a great way to keep it alive for the Rebels, and that goes out of bounds. point for the Spartans as they take their first lead here in the second set, going up 8-7. Served across to Weston, over to Smith. Hatch sends it over. That is kept alive by the Spartans, who will now put it over on their third hit. Just set it over into the area where there was not a Rebel ready. Good play there by the Spartans as they are now up 2. And that will be a timeout. We will take a break as well as Coach Wasden wants to talk about it. This is a Station on Main production of Rich High Volleyball, listening on 98.3 KADQ FM and online at mylocalradio.com.
Ready has provided safety and excellence in industrial construction and support services since 1982. From insulation and scaffolding to paintings and coatings, our crews are standing by to assist with new construction, maintenance projects, facility shutdowns, and more. Contact us today to ensure your assets are protected and functional. Interested in joining our team? Visit ReadyUSA.com. We are ready.
We are back here. We are at the Richfield tournament in Richfield, Utah, and we have a matchup for the Lady Rebels against the Emery Spartans. And once again, to summarize this tournament, this is one that the Lady Rebels come to yearly. A great time to set things up for state, as we are one of 2 1A schools here. The rest are 2A and 3A schools. So a great way to get ready for state in 2 weeks, as that serve does go into the net, giving the Lady Rebels a point and the ball back as Cornea goes back to serve, which she does. Back to Meekum. Set up to the outside to Sharp. That is blocked by Pugmire. Once again tried by the Lady Spartans, and that will be set up by Cornea to Smith, but just tipped by number 17, Haley Barnett, for Emery, as they go into double digits, now up 10-8. Sharp is back to serve to the Rebels, and she does so. She gets it over to Weston, to Cornea, and to Levitt, who hits it to Meekum. Kept alive. Battle at the net for it, and I believe that will be out of bounds. Emery with just a little bit too much on that. I believe that was Meekum who hit it across court, giving the Rebels a 1 point, and now down just 1 point as Argyle goes back to the service line. A few aces would be great here as the Rebels are clawing back into this, but that goes into the net, giving the Spartans a 2-point lead once again, going up 11-9. I believe it will be Malia Meekum back to serve for Emery. She serves back to Argyle, up front to Cornea, who sets up Bray. Meekum outside to... Now will hit the ground. That will be almost 4 hits for Emery, hitting on their side, giving the Rebels a point. 11-10 for Emery as the Rebels try to take over this lead here, as Hatch will serve right to left to the Lady Spartans. She will get that across to the back row. Emery setting up to the outside, and that is into the net. 11-11, tie up for the Rebels as they try to keep this thing alive and force a third set. Hatch back to serve again. She gets across. Great serve as it is right at the feet of Meekum, and the Rebels now will take the lead 12-11 midway through the second set. Hatch back to serve once again. She gets it across to Sharp, and nobody will get there. A bit of a communication error for Emery in favor of the Rebels, who now take a 2-point lead here, 13-11. Hatch serving right to left. Gets to the back row to Meekum. Set up to the outside. Good hit. Good pass by Cornea as Emery sends it back again. Tipped over by Weston. Emery sends it to the back row. Argyle keeps it alive to Cornea, to Peterson. Sharp puts it up in the air. Rebels partially block that. It is to Cornea, outside to Bray. And Emery will keep this alive as well. Sharp with a big, strong hit. Back row to Argyle, who keeps it alive. And Weston will hit it out of bounds there on the outside, giving Emery the point, 13-11. 13-12 as Emery's just within one, as number 17, Haley Barnett, will be serving to the Rebels. She gets it to Weston, who sends it right back over. The Rebels tip it. That was a great tip there by Pugmire at the feet of Meekum once again. Rebels now up 14-12 with Bray Pugmire serving across to Emery here. Pugmire with the serve. Back to Sharp. Set up by Barnett to the outside. Smith keeps it alive to Cornea. To Peterson. That's blocked. Peterson puts it right back to Meekum. To the outside again. That is partially blocked and hits the floor. We have a 1-point set once again, 14-13. We are now at 14-13 in favor of the Rebels. Argyle keeps it up to Cornea, outside to Weston, and that is just outside of the net there, as it will be tied up now, 14-14, giving the ball back to Emery. Emery serves across to Argyle. Cornea just tips it over, and great placement there right behind her, where there were no Spartans to be seen, as the Rebels now go up 15-14, 10 points away from keeping this alive here in the second set. Pugmire is in for Weston as she will go back to serve here. Pugmire serves across, and that is into the net, putting us back at 15-15 for, and Emery will serve across, number 9. Hadley Grimm to serve to the Rebels. Back to Pugmire. Up front to Corney, who sets up Peterson. Hits there, but is partially blocked. A quick hit there. Great play there by Emery to give them the lead now, 16-15. So, and I had that wrong there. This is actually number 19, Allison Johansson, serving left to right to the Rebels. She gets it over to Pugmire, to Cornea up front, and to Peterson, but that is immediately blocked, and to the floor for Emery. Good heads-up play there by that middle blocker for Emery, as now they find themselves up 17-15 with Johansson serving left to right once again. Weston, a good pass up front to Cornea, outside to Levitt, kept alive by the Lady Spartans to get it to the outside, and that will be into the net. Rebels now 1 point away from tying this thing up once again, and Paige Smith will go back to serve right to left to Emery. Paige with the serve, just over the net. Meekum handles it to the outside to Sharp, who hits it. A good kill there. Rebels not able to get there in time as the Spartans go up 18-16. Rebels need to get things going here to avoid a 2-0 sweep, as the same happened in 2022 against this Emery team. Number 12, Cabri Gordon, back to serve, back to Weston, to Smith, and Hatch will put it back over. Emery keeps it in the middle to Pugmire, to Levitt, back to Pugmire, to Sharp, to the back row, and they will get it to the outside. Good dig there by Smith, trying to get it back over, which they do. Pugmire gets it up to Cornea, who feeds it to Hatch. Good play there by Meekum, but it goes out of bounds, and a much-needed point happening for the Rebels. The Rebels are not going down quietly to this much bigger 3A school, and this is a thing that is historically accurate for the Rebels. They come down here and are able to compete with these bigger schools, and Rich trying to win this second set with Cornea back to serve, and she does so to the back row of Emery. A back set. Great play there by Weston to keep it alive to Smith, but then it does hit the floor. The Lady Spartans now go up 19-17 with Jabri Sharp serving to the Rebels. The Rebels in desperate need of a run here to prevent the Spartans to continue this run, but that is an ace by Jabri Sharp. And I believe Coach Wasden is going to take a timeout here. And so will we. This is a Station on Main production of the Lady Rebel volleyball team. listening in on 98.3 KDQ FM and watching online at mylocalradio.com.
And now a message from the experts at Bear Lake Realty.
Welcome to Water's Edge, right downtown Garden City. Beachfront condos, close to the beach, close to downtown for your renters and the owners.
This is the Bear Lake Realty fan cam, and we do have a few. We do have a few fans here that our Rebel faithful will recognize. So we will get back to the game here, as I am manning the camera by myself today. So we'll try to get it back here, which we do. Okay. So the Rebels keep it to the outside. A great hit there by Levitt. Much needed point to keep things alive here. Is now 20-18 in favor of Emery, as I believe Cassie Argyle will go back to serve for the Rebels. A few points here would be huge, as you want to really keep Emery away from that 25th point. Cassie, a good serve across to Sharp. Two Spartans go for it, a bit of a miscommunication. They do get it over to Smith, up front to Cornea. Bray with the hit, but it is blocked. Number 25 for Emery. Demi Pitchforth has done a great job there at that middle blocker position, and she does it once again there, giving her team a lead, 21-18. Meekum serves it across, and that is just out of bounds. Rebels now just down 2, as Hatch will go back to serve here. Hatch trying to keep this thing alive as she serves cross court to Sharp. Up front, getting it to the outside for Emery. They will just put it over to Argyle, to Cornea. Peterson just puts it over, and now Meekum sets up. They did run into each other there, and they do keep it alive. Cornea tries to tip it over, and I believe that was in the net for the Rebels, giving Emery another point. They are now up 22-19. Rebels trying to keep alive here. Cornea trying to get some clarification on that call. I believe it was in the net for the Rebels, as number 17, Haley Barnett, will serve left to right for Emery. Weston passes it up to Cornea, back out to Weston, who hits it down to Sharp. Emery trying to get it over, which they do, and Rebels not able to handle it in the back row there. Cornea tried her best to handle that big hit to the back row, but it does go out of bounds. Emery just 2 points away from closing out this set, and I believe the match if they do win this set, as Barnett will serve again left to right for Emery. Right to Smith, who puts it up to Cornea, outside to Weston. That is partially tipped, but to Meekum. Outside again for Emery, and that is into the net. Rebels now down 23-20, but they do get the ball back. A few aces here would be very valuable to keep this game alive, as Pugmire goes back to the service line, serving right to left. A good serve to Sharp. Set up to the outside again, who they just set it over to Smith, to Cornea, setting up Peterson in the middle. They do keep it alive. They get it out to the outside. Smith to Cornea to Peterson once again, out of bounds. So that will give Emery an opportunity here for match point, as number 12, Cabri Gordon, goes back to serve left to right for the Spartans. Reserves to Smith. Cornea setting up. Pugmire with the hit, and that does go into the net. Emery will take this one 25-20, and I will see here it does look like it is best of 3, which it is. So that will close this thing out. We will go to break and then have a post-game show just after this.
Dealing with computer problems can be frustrating and make you wish for your own personal IT guy. Now, everyone can afford an IT guy. Independent Software Solutions has served customers in Wyoming and Utah for over 20 years. We develop software, handle system and network administration, repair personal and business computers, and sell accessories. Independent Software Solutions is your one-stop computer business solution. Call today, 307-789-1978. Let Independent Software Solutions be your IT guy.
Fast, fresh, delicious. 3 words that describe your experience every time you enjoy a delicious meal with Jimmy John's. Utilizing the freshest ingredients, home-baked bread, and professional sandwich building skills, the team at Jimmy John's always delivers a mouth-watering sandwich to satisfy any hunger. Jimmy John's. Freaky fast, freaky fresh. Visit any of our locations today in Evanston, Rock Springs, Sheridan, and Gillette.
We are back. I am down in Richfield at the Richfield tournament as Rich's first match does come to a conclusion. Emery beating the Rebels 2-0 in a best-of-3 matchup. The Lady Rebels did play well. It was a very close sets. We had our moments where I thought we'd pull away. You do have to give Emery some credit. They had some great players there. Very scrappy team. There were a lot of times where I thought we'd come away with the point, and Emery did a great job of keeping the ball alive. The Rebels had some great hustle points as well, but in the end, Emery just did a great job of closing out both sets as it was gridlocked right up until the very end. As I said, this Lady Spartan team, according to Deseret News, 12-8 this year on the season, with a lot of those wins coming to big schools. And once again, this was a good matchup for the Rebels, as the one that they really have circled is this weekend against Panguitch, which could certainly be a preview of a matchup at state. And I know Coach Wasden really wants to see how we match up with them, and that will be happening tomorrow. Unfortunately, we are not able to broadcast that one, but we will talk about our broadcasting schedule here in just a minute. We will go to break here. This is a Jimmy John's Freaky Fast recap. When we come back, we'll talk about some of those big plays that happened, player of the game, and a calendar update, as this is first of 2 broadcasts that we are having today in central Utah. We'll be back just after this.
Healthy teeth and gums affect your overall health, including the mental image you have of yourself. That's just one reason that good dental care and hygiene habits should begin at a young age. Healthy teeth mean fewer sick days from school and higher self-esteem. We all want our children to be successful. Teaching them healthy dental habits at a young age with regular cleanings and dental checks is part of the answer. Dr. McKay Frankum serves patients of all ages. Call today and schedule dental appointments for your family. Dr. McKay Frankum, providing precision family dentistry at affordable prices.
Dealing with computer problems can be frustrating and make you wish for your own personal IT guy. Now, everyone can afford an IT guy. Independent Software Solutions has served customers in Wyoming and Utah for over 20 years. We develop software, handle system and network administration, repair personal and business computers, and sell accessories. Independent Software Solutions is your one-stop computer business solution. Call today, 307-789-1978. Let Independent Software Solutions be your IT guy.
The proceeding has been a wholly owned production of MyLocalRadio.com and Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC, no portion of which may be used or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC. Thank you for joining us for this sports presentation on MyLocalRadio.com.
I apologize to our listeners. We did lose sound there, so I will just get a quick recap. I believe we went out right after the break. So, player of the game, we had Paige Smith, who had a great game in the back row there as the libero. Some great passes, good scrappy player, as she's been all year long. She had a big task at hand going against these Emery Spartans, very scrappy team themselves, and Paige did a good job at doing her best at keeping plays alive. Some of those very strong kills she was able to keep alive for the Rebels, so great job to Paige. And as I was saying before, and I believe we didn't have sound, the Rebels would much rather take on Panguitch in the second day than the first day, as we were able to come down here after that long bus ride after a big win last night and hopefully work some kinks out and get ready for Panguitch tomorrow, which will be a big one for the Rebels. And that does segue us into the Woodruff Country Corner calendar update. 2 hours from now, we start our pregame show just 15 minutes south of where I'm sitting right now. The football team will be taking on the South Sevier Rams in Monroe, Utah, which, as I say, is just a few minutes south of Richfield. And so we're able to do both games today. South Sevier is a good football team. They are ranked number 5, I believe, in 2A currently. So it'll be a good test for the Rebels. I know the JV is currently winning 14-6 at halftime down there. So we will make our way down there. Tomorrow, I do apologize for not being able to broadcast the Rich Panguitch game. Many of you know I do double duty and coaching junior high football as well. And so after the football game tonight, I'll be driving back home, get home around 2 a.m. and then coach junior high football first thing tomorrow morning. And so, but I will say Coach Wasden does stream her games without commentary on her YouTube channel, which I believe is just called Danelle Wasden. If you want to search that up and find the game tomorrow, will be broadcast just without commentary. And so, but we will be rebroadcasting here in 2 hours at the start of the pregame for the football game against the South Sevier Rams. So tune in for that, and thank you for tuning in for our midday listeners. We will be back in just a couple hours on MyLocalRadio.com and listening in on 98.3 KDQ FM.
The proceeding has been a wholly owned production of MyLocalRadio.com and Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC, no portion of which may be used or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Cook Brothers Broadcasting, LLC. Thank you for joining us for this sports presentation on MyLocalRadio.com.